And Sam's running. Sam's working a low-budget campaign. He's doing the best he can with what we've got to work with, and we've had some mailers that have gone out in the past week or so. A couple of them actually the past couple of weeks that have gone out. So I want to introduce Sam to you. This is Sam Edwards, and he's running for the 118th seat there that's occupied currently by Ray Rapp, but hopefully we're going to put Sam in that seat as we go forward. Sam Edwards, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm really blessed to be back in Madison County. I enjoy coming here, and I will say that I do have the best resource possible, and that's you, the members of the Republican Party here. And what you tell your neighbors and recommend to your neighbors, I appreciate it entirely. Now, I am standing before you. Some of you may have received a push poll recently on the telephone where a question somewhat like this was probably asked. Would you still be inclined to vote for Sam Edwards if you knew that he wanted to raise state sales tax to 23%?
Oh, you betcha.
This is another of the anecdotal pieces of evidence about how desperate our folks are getting. The mailers that you've received about my opponent's record, of course, come from the North Carolina Republican Executive Committee, which cannot and did not consult with me about their content. Now, I did agree with their content. I thought they did a good job of researching Ray's record and letting the people know about it. But the fact that they are investing money tells me that they are being told by their pro-pollsters that this is definitely a winnable district. I'm sorry it took them so much money and so long to realize that, but it's been true all along. As soon as you get the record out and make it evident that my opponent has only about 13 people in the General Assembly that are more liberal than he is, that doesn't set too well with the constituents that he is representing. This week, I've been in 2 forums with all the legislative candidates that represent Haywood County, which means 4. And it's interesting how the opposition is running kind of a tag team, and the message is the same. And it reminds me of a message that got a certain Republican president, I think, defeated, which was, "You've never had it so good." Oh, says one of them, not, to be perfectly frank, not Ray Rapp, but one of his buddies. He can't understand why there's so much negativity about the North Carolina economy, why Site Selection magazine says this has the best environment for business of any of the 50 states. Well, I don't know who publishes Site Selection magazine, but I would suspect, I'll find out because I'm going to research it, but I would suspect it can't be any business group except the business group that has businesses that receive tax breaks from the legislature for relocating here. And you know what that does to all the small businesses in the state? They have to pick up the rest of the tax burden, while the fat cats that the fat cats have allowed to come in and use our state as a litter box, to continue the metaphor, are allowed to get away with not paying any taxes significantly at all. We need to stop that. I'm opposed to corporate welfare, and I want to be very clear that we want the majority, the new majority in Raleigh, is committed to cutting tax rates on individuals and businesses significantly, because it's the only way we're going to stimulate the economy, and at the same time reducing the amount of excess expenditure that's going on in Raleigh that's driving us further into the hole. Ralph Heiss has told you repeatedly, and he's right, that what is being done by our opponents in this race in their description of their fiscal responsibility is the same sort of thing that was being done by the accountants at Enron. Now, Enron accounting is not the way to run a state government any more than it is to run a business or a large corporation. And for the same reasons, it's dishonest. We need to stop this culture. I keep telling people that I feel like Dr. Phil when I ask them, after telling them the same party's been in charge to all intents and purposes for 130 years, how's that been working for you? Well, it hasn't. So you change. Otherwise, you fall under the condemnation of Albert Einstein, who defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I would appreciate your continued support of this effort, because I am very well aware that I'm only going to be one of 120 legislators, but I am going to be one, and I intend to be a voice for common sense and good government in Raleigh. And I want you to feel free to contact me through my website or by phone at any time. Well, I'd prefer you not call after 9, but you know about that. And I'll be glad to clarify or answer any questions that you might have. And also here before I go back to Haywood County. Thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me ramble, not setting a time limit.
No, sir. Thank you.